Welcome. In a previous video I removed this door panel from my 1997 Land Cruiser, and this is the passenger side front. And in this video I'm going to be removing this carpet and re-gluing it because it's kind of hanging off here. This isn't supposed to have like a pocket down here, so there's a pocket behind it. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take off this lens. I'll use a little screwdriver. You should be able to pop it off here. Looks like the whole light came out, and the cord faced toward the outlet faced towards the outside of the door here. So let's see what it takes to get this thing off. Well, I'll take this panel off first, and then we'll look at it. So I'm going to flip this over, and there's a bunch of screws here. I'll just remove all of these screws, and that should take the pocket off. Okay, the pocket is off, and this would probably be a good time to clean this door really good. Okay, so this carpet goes around here and is stapled in. And it looks like it's kind of tucked up in this little groove here. Lots of junk has accumulated here. So it looks like this is fused in. They fused the plastic together, so I'm not going to be able to get that off. So I think what I'm going to do is probably peel this back on the corner, and that way I can peel this over and then glue it back together. Okay, so I've got this partly open. This is really messy. Oh, there's all sorts of junk in here, so I'm going to take this back a little further. Okay, I'm going to get the vacuum and clean this up a little bit better. Okay, since this is so gross, I really want to take this all apart, so I'm going to drill these out, I think, and then I can pop that trim off the front. Okay, I just have a 5/32 drill bit here. I'm going to drill into the middle of that. I need to go a little bigger. Now I've got 1/4-inch drill bit. Okay, I have both sides broken free. You can see this piece now. I'll just have to use some hot glue or something to put that back in. And this little angled piece goes towards the inside of the car. Some kind of gooey stuff in here. It's kind of gross. Okay, so I have all of the staples off of here, and this is pretty gross, so I'm going to go take this outside and spray it down with some like Simple Green or Super Clean or something like that, and I'll scrub this up really good, and then I'll have to figure out how to clean this too. So I'll come back after that's cleaned. Okay, it's the next day, so I've got this all cleaned up. I used some Super Clean, and I'll put a link in the description to that on Amazon. If you use that link, it helps me out a little bit. It doesn't cost you anything extra. And I actually sprayed this carpet down with the Simple Green, or the Super Clean, and I cleaned the backside. This was really tricky. It had like a greasy kind of substance on it, so I used the Super Clean, but then eventually went to acetone and cleaned it with acetone. And I did the same thing here, and I wiped this down with acetone. And this part here, I'll use some 303 protectant on when I'm done because it's kind of dulled it a little bit. But this is, the challenge I have now is that the carpet goes down into a little slot here. Let's see if I can get that on camera. There's a little slot. It's about that deep. So my plan was to use some contact adhesive, but at least to put the first strip in here, I think what I'm going to use is use some of this. It's a Duck brand carpet tape, and it's a double stick tape, and I'll put that on here, and I'll leave the one side covered so I can stick it in the slot, and then I'll pull the covering off, and hopefully that'll work. I don't know. If it doesn't, I have to peel all this off. So, but it's something I'm going to try. So I'll get started on that. Okay, that experiment was short-lived. This didn't stick very well at all, so I'll have to find something else. Okay, I think I'm going to go to plan B, which is use this contact cement. This is like for laminate countertops. And I'm going to put like a stripe here, and I'll put it on the edge here. So I'll just glue it in the slot to start, and then I'll fold this open like a book, and then I'll coat the whole thing. So I'm just using a chip brush to apply this because I'll throw this away when I'm done. Okay, I'll let that sit 20 minutes and then I'll come back and attach it. Okay, it's been 20 minutes. So what I've done is I took some calculator tape and I tucked it in that little slot and I taped it on there. And that's to make sure that the contact cement doesn't make contact until I'm ready for it to do so. And if you don't have calculator tape, you could just use regular paper. Would work too. Here, I'll cut out the little light hole so I can make sure it's lined up properly. So now I'll take the carpet and I'll line up this is the main thing you need to line up, is this little light hole. And I'll have to scoot that in there, under. So I'm just using my little, this is kind of a blunt-nosed putty knife. It's kind of sticking to my paper a little bit, so I don't know if this plan's going to work very well. I think there's some globs of glue back there too. Okay, plan B is to use some parchment paper. So I'll cut this into strips and I'll put that in place. I'm guessing the glue won't stick to this very well. Okay, I'm going to try this again now. Okay, now I'm going to carefully try to pull the parchment paper out. I'm going to use my putty knife to make sure that's pressed in really good. So I've got that in. You can see the seam here looks really tight. I got a little glue up here. I can just probably rub that off or use some solvent. Yeah, it looks like it's rubbing off. So now I'll press this in a little more all along the seam just to make sure I have it really secure. Okay. Now I'll give it a little tug. It seems pretty secure. Because now I want to peel it back. You can see where it's sticking right here. And my next step is to coat all of this with the adhesive, and then I'll wait 20 minutes and I'll roll that back over and it should stick, hopefully. Okay, I have that coated. I'll wait 20 minutes and I'll come back and I'll press it all together. Okay, it's been 20 minutes, so I'll peel this over slowly and I'll rub and press into the contact cement as I go. Looks like I got a little bit of puckering here, so I'll have to rub that tight. And I don't have a lot of room to pull this over, so I may have tucked it in a little too far, I don't know. So another way to potentially do this would have been to coat the whole thing with epoxy, because that has a little bit of a cure time, so then you could move it around. So I'm going to let this sit a while and I'll try and pull it off and see if it's strong or if I need to find some other method. Okay, so I went and had some lunch and I came back and I was looking at this again, and I think it's kind of a fail, so I'm going to pull this off. Let's see how good it's stuck. The glue didn't seem to stick very well. This is some very old glue. I probably should have got some newer glue. It kind of looks, I'm not sure the glue stuck to this. It's kind of hard to tell. Looks like it's stuck somewhat. Okay, so I'm back to square one with this. It's sticking in some spots, but like right here, this should stick to itself. Yeah, there's glue on there. Maybe it needed a second layer of glue or something. I don't know. So I'm going to end this video for now. I'm not sure what I'm going to do here, but I'll probably make a video if I figure it out. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you like this video, please click like. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate if you could do that. And thanks for watching. Until next time, goodbye.